A grandmother and grandson are dead after being engulfed in flames. A family of 9 called this house home. What neighbors on South State Street woke up to in the middle of the night and what firefighters saw when they first got there.
We have Line 2 coverage for you tonight. Then a reason you'll want to grab a pen and pencil and get any high school students in your house to listen up tonight. How their sophomore year grades could impact the rest of their lives, starting with getting into the college of their choice.
And right now, Al Roker is entering hour 19 of his weather marathon. What he's hoping to accomplish other than break a world record, we're going to talk to him live in just about 5 minutes.
And tonight we're watching the snowflakes falling here in central New York, why this burst of snow could be the first significant batch of lake effect.
And who will see the most out of this lake effect snow?
We begin, though, here tonight with the devastating news from the south side of Syracuse today. A 64-year-old woman and a 4-month-old baby died after a fire tore through their home on South State Street in just minutes. In
total, 9 people lived in that home on South State Street. 4 people escaped without being injured, although they did have to get checked out at the hospital. 4 others were taken to the hospital. 2 ended up dying. 2 others are in critical condition there tonight. Here's what they're saying.
And we ask that the people of our community keep this family in their thoughts and prayers as they go through what is a tremendous and unthinkable loss.
The call to 2014 South State Street came in just after 3 a.m. The fire started toward the back of the house on the first floor.
64-year-old Margaret Settles and 4-month-old Marvin Gunn were pronounced dead at the hospital. Right now, 38-year-old Shantique Settles and 3-year-old Shamir Tate are listed in critical condition.
Travis Agnew is also in the hospital. His condition is unknown. 3 others, 23-year-old LaShanti Spencer, 17-year-old Shakisha Spencer, and 8-year-old Tiana Dunbar, they were all treated and released.
I looked out the window and the whole street was just white smoke. And the back end of the house was on fire. But you see them bringing people out on stretchers and they seem to be lifeless.
And I seen them bringing the bodies out, working on them. Yeah, it's just overwhelming.
Our Jim Kenny has been following this developing story all day for you. He joins us live from South State Street with what firefighters saw in those first few seconds when they arrived. Jim.
Well, right at this moment, the cause of this fire, the exact cause is undetermined, but we learned this afternoon that the fire originated in the kitchen, which is in the back portion of this house, and then it quickly raced through the walls and up a staircase to the upper floor, where the victims were sleeping.
Moments after the fire was knocked down, teams of fire investigators went through the burned-out home on South State Street, looking into what started the fire, how it spread, and why a 64-year-old woman and a 4-month-old baby died, while 2 others were critically injured, and yet 4 others were able to escape just as firefighters arrived at 3:30 this morning. This afternoon, Mayor Stephanie Miner told reporters the fire moved through the home very quickly.
We were dispatched within a minute and on scene within 3 minutes, and the whole house was engulfed. And so hopefully your viewers will never know, but fires move extraordinarily quickly.
Fire Chief Paul Leonard says when firemen first arrived, several people were running out the front door. The firefighters entered the burning home to try to save those trapped on the upper floor, but were ordered to back out because of the intense heat and smoke. But as soon as fire crews doused the flames, those rescuers rushed back in on ladders to the upper floor.
These guys did an extraordinary job. It's almost superhuman what they did in this house. If you could see, the kitchen is literally consumed. The sink fell to the floor because all of the wood in the kitchen is consumed. The refrigerator is a crumpled piece of metal in the corner. It's amazing what these guys do on a daily basis.
Mayor Miner says there is no evidence that any code violations contributed to this fire. She says there were smoke detectors in the house. They're trying to find out now if they function properly. Syracuse Police Chief Frank Fowler says the police investigation is continuing, but at this point, there is no evidence of any criminal activity. Now, Mayor Miner says that everyone who lived in this house lost everything, and if you'd like to help, you can call the mayor's office. They can put you in touch with agencies that will accept your donations. New at 6, a community activist calls upon the city to adopt tougher standards for rental homes. Reporting live from State Street, I'm Jim Kenyon.
Thank you, Jim. Worth noting this house was built in 1899. It goes back a long ways. Now, deadly fires are rare in Syracuse. We have a terrific fire department here, although the most recent, before this morning, is still fresh in our memories. You may remember 52-year-old Robin Washington. She was killed late in October on Ostrander Avenue. Investigators blame a natural gas stovetop that was accidentally left on in that case. There were no working smoke detectors inside that home. Coming up at 6, important information about why you need to make sure your smoke alarms are working.
And at 5:30, you'll hear more from the neighbors who woke up to sadness and the smell of smoke. We'll get more of the sense of what the family was going through. We've been updating you all day as we learned new information. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest details on our CNY Central mobile app.
Right now, we're learning more details surrounding the deadly house fire that killed 2 people early this morning.
A 64-year-old woman and a 4-month-old baby died after this fire tore through their home on South State Street in just minutes.
As authorities continue to investigate how it started, they revealed there were smoke detectors in the home. Not sure if they were working, though.
Now, officials responded as fast as they could, but the home was already lost.
We were dispatched within a minute and on scene within 3 minutes, and the whole house was engulfed.
Now at 5:30, our Brandon Roth talked with neighbors who recount some of the moments early on in this tragic incident.
It was devastating. My neighbor woke me up, and I looked out the window, and the whole street was just white smoke, and the back end of the house was on fire.
Neighbors on South State Street were awakened early this morning to the sounds of sirens, the smell of smoke, and the news of a deadly fire right in their own neighborhood.
Right now there's 2 confirmed fatalities and 2 that are in critical condition. I don't have the condition of the others.
Syracuse Fire Department says 9 people were inside the house on South State Street when the fire broke out. 8 of them ended up being hospitalized, some so badly injured by the blaze they had to be treated right at the scene.
And I said, I hope everybody made it out the house. Then I seen them bringing the bodies out, working on them. Yeah, it's just overwhelming.
But you see them bringing people out on stretchers, and they seem to be lifeless. So that's all I can say. Just pray to God that they're all right.
Neighbors say most of the victims were from the same tight-knit, hard-working family, a family whose members, they say, always had a smile for the rest of the neighborhood.
And I see always waving, and just giving out blessings, It's just sad. I just pray that everybody makes it.
In Syracuse, Brandon Roth reporting.
It's terribly sad.
And sadly, we learned everyone did not make it out alive.
Yeah.
2 people were killed in that fire.
Yeah, terrible to see. Here's what's happening now.
Happening right now, more details on today's deadly fire. A house that was once a home to a family of 9 is now gone after fire took those family members' lives. 2 of them died. Tonight, we'll hear from one victim who survived.
And it's a stinky problem plaguing one area of the town of Onondaga, spilling sewage. Neighbors must come up with a resolution by tomorrow or face hefty fines. Tonight, they're speaking out saying this issue is not their fault.
And New Yorkers, beware. It starts as an innocent-sounding phone call, but the person on the other end has a very different motive. What bogus calls you need to be aware of.
This is NBC3 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Megan Coleman.
I'm Matt Mulcahy. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Earlier today, the flakes were flying in Lynn Court neighborhood of Syracuse. In fact, all over central New York.
This was a common scene out there today. We even saw some outside our studios here in James Street today. And this actually could be the first significant blast of lake effect snow this season.
To find out the very latest, here's Chief Meteorologist Wayne.
Devastating news from the south side of Syracuse tonight. A 64-year-old woman and a 4-month-old baby died overnight when a fire tore through their home on South State Street.
The call to 2014 South State Street came in just after 3 in the morning. The fire started toward the back of the house on the first floor.
Authorities continue to investigate how this fire started. They did reveal to us today there were smoke detectors in the home, but they're not sure yet if they were working.
Well, officials say they responded as fast as they could, but the house was already engulfed in flames. Earlier today, we heard from neighbors who were obviously shaken up by what had happened.
I looked out the window, and the whole street was just white smoke, and the back end of the house was on fire. But you see them bringing people out on stretchers, and they seem to be lifeless.
And I seen them bringing the bodies out, working on them. Yeah, it's just overwhelming.
64-year-old Margaret Settles and 4-month-old Marvin Gunn were pronounced dead at the hospital. Right now, a 38-year-old Shantique Settles and 3-year-old Shamir Tate are listed in critical condition.
Travis Agnew is also in the hospital. His condition is unknown. 3 others, 23-year-old LaShanti Spencer, 17-year-old Shakisha Spencer, and 8-year-old Tiana Dunbar were treated and released. We should correct that Agnew has been released from the hospital too. Now at 6, our Alex Russillo is live from Upstate University Hospital, where 2 of the victims were taken, as well as a few others. Alex.
Well, Matt and Megan, 7 people were taken here to SUNY Upstate Hospital right behind me after an early morning house fire tore through a home in the 2000 block of South State Street around 3:30 earlier this morning. Now, a grandmother and her grandson were killed in that fire. 2 people are still listed in critical condition, and 3 more were taken here and then released. Now,
Ruger and
after a fire started in the kitchen of this home on State Street at 3:30 earlier this morning. But many around State Street say that the most tragic part of this fire this morning is the death of an infant, 4-month-old Marvin Gunn, and his grandmother, 64-year-old Margaret Settles. Now, in an exclusive interview only seen here on NBC3, we're speaking with Settles' grandson and Marvin's cousin, LaShanti Spencer. Now, he tells us how he woke up surrounded by smoke and flames. He was then hospitalized for minor injuries before being released from Upstate. Spencer is now telling us how he's dealing with this horrific loss to both him and the rest of his family.
To be honest, it was like hell. Because my grandmother, I lost my grandmother, my cousin, and my mom and my nephew. They in critical condition. And my mom, she just might not make it. So we need all the prayers that we can get.
Now, I was speaking with that baby boy's mother just a couple hours ago, in the last hour and a half to 2 hours or so, Matt and Megan. Now, that interview was off camera. She told me this is obviously devastating to her and the rest of her family. But what also immediately became very apparent to me during our brief conversation of only about a minute was the reality of this scenario and this situation had not yet sunken in with her, as she is still completely in a state of shock. For now, reporting live here in Syracuse in front of Upstate University Hospital, I'm Alex Russillo. Matt and Megan, back to you.
A very sad time for the family. You can hear it in their voices. Now, the fire chief says the smoke detectors in this home were too badly damaged to immediately know whether they were in working condition.
But after seeing what happened at this home, tonight is the night when every one of you should check your smoke detectors in your home. The National Fire Protection Association offers these recommendations. Install smoke alarms outside each bedroom and put them on every floor of your home.
Place the alarms high on a wall or even on the ceiling. Test the alarms once a month and replace the batteries once a year. Take time to make these checks tonight. Now, Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner is calling on the community to come together to support this family.
And we ask that the people of our community keep this family in their thoughts and prayers as they go through what is a tremendous and unthinkable loss.
The mayor says anyone who wants to help out the family can contact City Hall for that information.
Now, people have been posting their comments, offering their prayers and their thoughts on our CNY Central Facebook page throughout the day today, ever since we first posted this story very early this morning. Somebody's saying here, for example, Krista, praying, oh, Jesus, comfort this family. Siobhan saying, sending prayers to the family. Tina saying, RIP those that lost their lives, and prayers out to the rest of the family.
Jim saying, being a firefighter, it really hurts to lose anyone in a fire, especially a baby. RIP for the 2 we lost in this morning's tragic fire. Those are sentiments we are hearing tonight over and over again on our CNY Central Facebook page.
It's certainly worth noting those firefighters who responded to this call today. This will be a day they will never forget. The most difficult thing they ever do is to pull a child out of a burning home, and then to have this outcome makes it even worse.
The fire chief today calling those firefighters heroic, saying that they put their lives on the line every single day to help protect this community.
Well, tonight our team coverage continues on this story. Our Jim Kenyon joins us live from the scene of the fire with the latest on the investigation. Jim.
Well, investigators still haven't determined the exact cause of this deadly fire. We do know it started in a kitchen in the back of the house and quickly spread throughout the entire building. A 64-year-old woman and a 4-month-old baby were killed, and 2 others remain in critical condition tonight.
Specially trained investigators took control of the scene of the deadly fire as soon as fire crews had left. They were looking for both the cause and the path of the fire. We learned this afternoon that a neighbor called 911 at 3:30 this morning, and fire crews were on the scene in 4 minutes. But by then, the fire had engulfed most of the home. Neighborhood activist Charlie Pierce L. says the city needs to strengthen its building codes in response to this tragedy.
Our code laws should be a lot more stricter than what they are, and people should be accountable for that, because some of these things are totally unacceptable and they could be avoidable.
At a news conference this afternoon, I asked Mayor Stephanie Miner to respond to Pierce L.'s complaint.
We have no evidence that what this fire was in any way caused or instigated by any code violations at the current time.
But Fire Chief Paul Leonards pointed out that firefighters in Syracuse are very familiar with the type of construction at this home, which allows fires to race out of control.
These are old balloon frame dwellings. That balloon frame means that there is a channel from the basement all the way to the attic. There's nothing to stop a fire from traveling from floor to floor.
Now, the police investigation is continuing, and we do know, however, of course, according to Police Chief Frank Fowler, at this time there is no evidence of any kind of criminal activity. And Mayor Miner realizes that the people that lived in this house lost everything, and she says a lot of people want to help them out. She says if you want to help out these families, all you need to do is to call the mayor's office, and they'll put you in touch with the agencies that can accept donations. Reporting live from South State Street in Syracuse, I'm Jim Kenyon.
Thank you, Jim. Now, deadly fires are rare in Syracuse, although the most recent one prior to this is still fresh in the memories of people who knew 52-year-old Robin Washington.
She was killed in her West Ostrander Avenue home in late October. Fire investigators blame a natural gas stovetop that was left on accidentally. The home did not have working smoke detectors. Don't forget, you can get all the latest information on this fire on our website at cnycentral.com.